Well, good day, everyone. Hope you are all doing great. Today's topic is a bit different from the other topics we had in the past weeks. It's about tips for learning languages, be it any language, English language, Turkish, German, Spanish, French, etc. Just before we start, I would like to give a note here. Uh, these tips are quite personal. That means these tips work for me. With these tips, I could learn different languages and by myself without attending any courses or classes and so on. So, of course, each one of us is learning languages differently. Some people look for grammar, some people look for speaking skills, some look for writing skills, etc. Some people learn the language for different purposes. For example, I learn it for pleasure, but some people learn it for the sake of work or to travel, and too many reasons there are. So please keep this in mind. These tips are for those who think like me, let's say, and those who are learning the language for pleasure, who would like to have the language beautifully read and beautifully written before being beautifully spoken or being understood. And that's why at the end of this of this topic, for this presentation, we will ask for your own tips. Let's find out how did you learn or how are you learning languages, for what purpose, and how you can help us or how we can help each other in learning foreign languages. So here we go. First of all, it's quite known that there are 4 skills that you are going to learn and going to study when you are learning a new language. And these skills are speaking skill, writing skill, reading skill, and listening skill. For me, and for my own personal experience, writing and reading helped me enhance my languages perfectly. And focusing on writing and reading helped me enhance my speaking skills and listening skills. Let's find out how. First of all, learn the basics. And what I mean by the basics, those the general grammars of the language. For example, in English language, we have a structure of the language which starts with the subject, followed by the verb, then if there is an object, and then adverbs, etc. This is a basic in the language. It will not change whether you are at A1 level or C1 level. This is the basic structure of the English language. So at the very beginning, learn the basics. Get at least a A1 level in the language you are learning. When you get the basics learned, you are going to understand all the sentences, even if they were too complicated. You can just destructure it and find out where the subject is, what the verb is, and thus you are going to start understanding the sentence in front of you. To learn the basics, I recommend you these 3 applications on our phones. The first one is Duolingo. Duolingo is fun, friendly. The problem with Duolingo is that it does not always give useful sentences, but the application is quite useful for learning the languages, the basics of the language. Right now, when you work on Duolingo, when you learn on Duolingo, before every lesson, Duolingo presents you the basics or the grammars of the lesson that you are going to start. So Duolingo is good to learn the basics. The other one is Memrise. Memrise is kind of for some people it's kind of boring because Memrise keeps on repeating the words and the sentences over and over again. But it's quite helpful. I mean, for learning vocabularies especially, I find Memrise very helpful. but my favorite one is Busu. Busu teaches the languages wonderfully. It focuses on listening, speaking, writing, and most importantly, on speaking with natives and checking your practices and exercises with native people. So Busa for me, in my opinion, is the best. Besides, when you finish a level in Busu, you have the opportunity to gain a certificate, which is kind of encouraging to learn the languages. So learn the basics from one or from all these applications. Dedicate about 10 or 15 minutes a day to learn the basics. Before you go to any other step during the learning process, make sure that you know the basics. When you finish learning the basics, then we will go to the next step, which is reading. Read. When you come to this step, you are now a person who has an A1 level in the language you are learning. We are going to talk about English right now, but this is applicable, just as I said, to all other languages, all foreign languages. So now you have an A1 level in English. You know the main structure of the language. You understand simple words. You can construct simple sentences. So now you are ready to read something a bit more complicated, which are children's stories or any stories. When you read with a basic level, I recommend you to start with children's stories. Something like Anne of Green Gables, which is a bit hard actually, Alice in Wonderland, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Dr. Seuss stories, etc. Any story that you know as a child. Or search in Google for A1, A2 readings. A1 and A2 readings, when you search on Google, they will show you reading passages which are really simplified for the basic level, A1, and for a bit more advanced level, A2. And usually they may be accompanied with some exercises. So one of the sites that I find it really helpful for this purpose is the Cambridge Assessment English. I'll provide this link for you at the YouTube video when this session ends. So in Cambridge Assessment English, there is an option called Learning English. And at this Learning English option, you see here says the skill. Which skill would you like to learn? Grammar, listening, pronunciation, reading, speaking, vocabulary, or writing. So you can choose reading, and then you give the level. Is it basic, independent, proficient? And then the time required to read. Something really short, or a bit longer, or too long. So here the results will appear to you. When you open one of these results, it will show you a reading passage you are going to read, and I guess at the end there is some kind of some kind of exercises regarding the thing that you have just read. It's really useful. Also, there are those kind of books. These books give stories, famous stories, classical generally, and they are simplified according to your level. Starts from stage 1, which is absolute beginner, to stage 5, which is advanced. So, for example, this story here, Sense and Sensibility, it's one of the great classics in English language. You can find it in all these levels, from stage 1 till stage 5. So start reading a story you like, you've heard of, by choosing one of these stages. These kind of books are existed in almost every library if you search for them. Here is a tip for you. Read a story you already know. Like, for example, we all know the story of Alice in Wonderland. We've seen it on cartoons, we've seen it as a movie, we've seen it as a TV show. We are too familiar with this story. So, what about getting Alice in Wonderland as a story and read it again? This kind of strategy, let's say, is quite useful because you already know the story of Alice in Wonderland. You know the sequence of the events in this story. So reading it will be really easy for you. Even if you are not understanding every sentence that is written, it will still be easy to understand what's written because you know the story already. And we will get back to this point later. So, um, yeah. Then, after reading, we will listen. I will try to remind you again that when you are reading and listening right now, you must be familiar with the basics of the language. So, when you're familiar with the basics of the language, you now can listen as well. How to listen? I bet that you have asked a lot of people about how to improve our English languages. And one of the most common answers would be watch movies, watch TV shows, listen to songs. In this way, your English will be better. This is correct. But let's be honest a bit. When we watch a movie or a TV show, we would like to enjoy it, to see what it talks about, what it shows us, etc. It's really rare to watch a movie to make our English get better. I don't know, it won't be fun anymore. So maybe we'll do it once or twice, but then we will get bored and we'll stop watching a movie to enhance our language. So, to enhance your listening, don't watch movies. Watch movies after your listening is good already. But to start enhancing your listening, listen to small, short clips, short listening clips. One of the YouTube channels that I do really recommend is this one, Learn English with EnglishClass101.com. By the way, you can just remove English here and write French, and you will have a French class 101, Turkish class 101, and they are all just the same. They are really useful and professionally made. And this channel doesn't only provide listening, but provides reading, learning how to read, to write, to speak, to listen, etc. But for listening, this one is really perfect. When you go to the playlist, you will see that there are listening uh, playlists in there. And you see that it starts with absolute beginners, beginners, intermediate learners, and advanced learners. Of course, the absolute beginners and beginners videos are short. Very simple language is used. The topics as well are too common, and the speaker in these videos speak really slowly. So you can begin enhancing your listening comprehension with these two lists very easily. As for the intermediate and the advanced learners, of course, the topics start getting a bit harder. The speaker gets a bit quicker when he or she speaks, and the clips are a bit longer. Anyway, they don't exceed 3 minutes, I guess. They're really short in comparison to watching a movie to enhance our listening. Again, the link to the channel is going to be provided to you as the YouTube link of this session. So far, so good? Someone tell me if I might be very excited, speaking fast or something. Good. Okay. Now, as I told you, for me, Writing and reading helped me a lot in enhancing my language. So how do I, or how could I enhance my writing? Now I did this program, let's say, like for every language I learned, and it always worked for me. Before going to bed, I write diaries. Now maybe you have this habit to write your diaries, and if you don't, so let's be a habit of yours. Before you go to bed, go and write your diaries. Today I woke up at 6 o'clock. I had my breakfast. My breakfast was 2 eggs and a cup of tea, etc., etc., etc. While you are writing your diaries, you will find out that there are some words you don't know in your target language, in English or French or Spanish, whatever you are learning. So you will look up for these words and you will learn new words. So this is the one good strategy. Or if you don't want to write your diaries, before going to bed, write your language journey of the day. What does that mean? It means it's something similar to diaries, by the way, but regarding your language. Like, for example, you write, today I studied about present simple tense by using Duolingo. I learned new sentences. I learned new words. I spoke with a native, something like that. So again, while you are going to write, you will find out that there are some words you don't know in English, or some sentences you can't write in English. Accordingly, this strategy also is very helpful. All right, tomorrow's to-do list. This is the easiest one. Like tomorrow I will cook, I will go shopping, I will have a haircut, whatever you are going to do for tomorrow. So in to-do list is here you are going to write small sentences, simple sentences, and you will use some certain tenses as well. Or the last one is not necessary before going to bed. Maybe you can do this whenever you want. Write about your favorite book, movie, TV show, etc. Like every day, decide to write about something. For example, today you watched a documentary about penguins. So when the documentary ends, you grab a paper and a pen and start writing. I have just watched a documentary about penguins. It showed us this, 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 and that. Penguins living there, penguins doing this, penguins loving that, etc. This is really useful because when you write, you are getting too familiar with the structure of the language. You are getting too familiar with the use of the words of this language. And it would be much better that when you are writing, you are speaking what you are writing. Here is another tip for you. Find a friend who is good with the language that you are learning. For example, if you are learning English, find an English friend or a friend who is very good in English. And when you write something, send it to that friend. Ask him or her to correct you, to find out where your mistakes are, to find out whether your writing is understood or not. The pleasure of writing exercises is that after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, from writing diaries or to-do lists, etc., you will start having memories of how did I start simple in the language and how good I have become. So it's really encouraging to check what you have written in the past and compare it with what you are capable of writing right now. Another tip is you can lie. So you don't really have to write everything happened in your day. You can just lie. Like, for example, for tomorrow's to-do list, I'm going to travel to China. Of course, you're not going to travel to China, but let's say that you wanted to use the sentence because you wanted to learn a new word or a new structure or new sentence. So you can just lie, write a story, for example. Okay. Here we go again. to the most important tip for me. Read a story you already know, or watch a movie you are familiar with. Now let's start with the first one. Read a story you already know. These 4 books are my books. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 4 different languages. Uh, I this movie is happened to be one of my favorite movies. So I really am very familiar with it. I know this story uh, very well. Okay, so and I've read this story in English like a very long time ago before watching the movie. Then I watched the movie, I read it again, and then I started learning Turkish. So I bought the Turkish one of the story. Then I started learning Spanish, so I got the Spanish one. Then I started learning French, so I got the French one. And God knows what other language I'm gonna get. When I read this story over and over again in different languages, I learn the language faster because I know the story already. I know what's going to happen. I know the sentence says what. I know what this new word, which is very looks very strange to me, means because I know what happens in this specific event. So reading a story you already know is very helpful for you to learn a new language. Or watch a movie you are familiar with. For example, which movie? Matrix. We have watched Matrix hundreds of times, but maybe we haven't watched it while we are paying attention to its English. What about watching it again, but this time pay more attention to their language? This way, you are going again to enhance your English, your listening and your speaking as well, because you are watching a movie that using a language you have heard hundreds and hundreds of times. Okay, okay. And here's another tip for you. Do not read classics. When you're starting to read some books, novels, especially novels or stories, don't go and read, for example, Wuthering Heights. This is really discouraging thing, because the classics are written by people who are not living with us anymore. They have been living centuries before us, and their English was a bit different. We are not using their English in our daily conversations anymore. So it won't be correct to enhance your language by reading a classic unless you are of an advanced level, like say B2 and above. But below that level, reading classics can be a boring thing and very discouraging thing. You won't understand it. You will find it pretty hard. So you won't like reading that way. Instead, read newly written books. Books that are written nowadays in the 21st century, especially young adult novels. Just Google YA novels or young adult novels, and you will find a lot of stories. Those the target, its target, the target are the young adults. Young adults that people in our age. In these novels, the language used is simple and common, a language that we are using every day, so it will be easier to read them. Plus, these novels are speaking about issues in our nowadays, so they will be again more related to our lives. We are going to understand them easier. Or read books, those made as movies or TV shows. I mean, if you watched Wuthering Heights as a movie or a TV show, go and read the book if you like it that much. You will understand it. It will still be very hard, but you will understand it better than just reading it without knowing what the story is about. And when you read loud. Don't read yourself. Make your voice heard. I find this strategy really helpful because when you read loud, you are going to get familiar with your own voice with the foreign language. Maybe most of you here try to speak with us, for example, in the past sessions, and they found it a bit hard to participate in the discussion session because what if I sounded funny? What if my voice is not accurate in speaking English and stuff like that? This happens because you haven't heard yourself before speaking the language, or your brain is not trained to hear you speaking a foreign language. So this happens. But when you read loud, really loud, your brain and yourself as well, your ears, is going to get familiar with you speaking a foreign language. Uh, so this is going to help you a lot in your speaking practice or speaking skill and listening skill as well. Plus, it will help you enhance your pronunciation. When you read loud, you will find out that you don't sound that much of an English speaker. You sound more like an Arabic speaker who tries to speak English. So maybe I need to change the way I pronounce words. So that will make you encouraged to listen to more English and try to imitate the way they are speaking. So reading loud is a very important tip in enhancing our languages. And finally, which is the most important thing, discipline. Do you all remember this topic? Riam's topic. Discipline is the most important thing to enhance a language or to learn a language. Make every day or make a schedule for yourself that every day I would spend at least, for example, 30 minutes, at least 30 minutes to learn this language or to enhance this language. And be committed to it. It's not like one day yes and one day no. No, every day, 30 minutes to do this and to do that. And so discipline and being serious about learning this language or enhancing this language is the most important thing in learning a foreign language. Because guys, learning a foreign language is not an easy thing. It requires patience, it requires dedication, and it requires courage. And most importantly, it requires time, a lot of time. So when you're disciplined, instead of learning a language within a year, maybe you can achieve it within 8 months. And that is an achievement. Two, if someone can learn it, I can learn it too. Idea is totally true. Like you look for someone who is an idol to you and says, oh my God, this guy can speak 5 languages. But if he can't do it, I can do it too. This is absolutely true because we are all born with the same potentials, with the same capabilities to do whatever we want. So if this person can learn 5 languages, you too can learn 5 languages or at least one perfectly. The third point is very important. You are so allowed to make mistakes as much as you can. Some people have become afraid of speaking the language with foreigners or with natives because they're afraid to make a mistake. What if I said this word? What if I couldn't pronounce it correctly? What if what if my grammar was broken? What if I use the plural but I have to use singular word and stuff like that? You don't think about those. Just speak. Make mistakes. When you speak with confidence and not don't really care about how many mistakes you're gonna make during speaking or writing or listening or any other skill you're practicing, people won't really pay that much of attention to your mistakes because you are confident. So you are allowed to make mistakes because you're not a native. And actually, mistakes help you become a better learner. If you don't make mistakes, you won't learn anything new. And finally, be proud of your accent. Some people say, oh my God, I sound so Iraqi when I speak English. No problem. Sound Iraqi, sound Egyptian, sound anything. It's your accent is it's kind of telling everyone in front of you that you are a hard worker and a learner and a person who could achieve something as wonderful and important as learning a foreign language. So be proud of it. Doesn't matter how you sound. What matters is that your sentences are accurate, understandable, and meaningful. So, you're not gonna tell us. As I told you, these tips are from my own personal experience. I am a very mathematical person, so writing and reading helped me enhancing all the other four skills. And those tips work for me in all the languages that I could learn. But maybe you are different. Maybe you have different tips you can give us for people who are like you, or maybe something I missed, something that's going to help me to learn a sixth language, maybe. So you tell us, what are your advices to learn a language? What are your tips to learn a language or to enhance a language? And currently, what skills do you want or need to enhance the most? Is it speaking, listening, writing, reading? As for the last question, what are your suggestions to develop the club and its activities? This question is, let's say, special question, and it's really important too because we want this club to be as helpful as possible to everyone. So this is all what I have for today. I'm waiting for your participations to tell us your advices about learning languages, the skills you want to enhance, and your suggestions to develop our club. Anyone? Liam. Go ahead, Liam.
Hi,
Hello.
firstly, thank you for this useful information, and really, we are very excited to follow this instruction or tips.
Thank you.
Firstly, as my personal experience in language through 3 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I joined to institute to develop my language,
Mm-hmm.
and this my path on English language. You know, my skills not too much in English, so I have decided to learn more. But as you said, we need to cover all the four skills: listening, writing, reading, and okay. We need at least 3 or 4 power in our personality: insistence
Mm-hmm.
and discipline and confidence and brave.
Great.
If we have if we have this power in our personality, we can uh, cope with, or we can achieve our goal to be native in English. Not native, but we can use to this language
Mm-hmm.
as a second language. Uh, so if we have insistence, that means we should do that, and we forced ourselves to do that. That means we should have discipline. Confidence, that means we need to be to be to have full confidence when we talk in front of others, when we written, or when we read something loudly in front of other.
Mm-hmm.
If someone asks to read them, to write some words he wants without any keyboard, without any correction,
Yeah.
autocorrection. If we have also the pride, when we have the pride thing, or when we have a pride, that means we will face, and we can don't be shy when we do mistake. When
Mm-hmm.
we do mistake, that means we are learners. We are do something, because the mistake is a result of doing something. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the best point. We should follow it. Also, I have feel myself better than the previous month, because I am insist to listen more and
Mm-hmm.
reading more loudly. Also, the club is so useful to me, make me, as a previous presentation, I haven't been talking in and half hour loudly in English language. That this give me a opportunity to
Mm-hmm.
make myself is more brave and confidence with
Right.
our accent, with my
Mhm.
accent.
Yes.
So this is why we should insist on this goal. That will take a long time, all of us know, because it is a new language. Not new, but we haven't any good basic of this.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yes. So that mean also we should face the disappointment in the beginning, and we should cope with and get used to make mistake. And also, even if we have not good points or degree in our exam, we can fall, but we should try and try again till we achieve our aim goal. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. So we have Mariam. Go ahead.
Sorry, but I saw Jinan raise her hand before me,
Oh, where's Jinan? Jinan.
but
Oh,
her has
yeah,
her
there she is.
yes.
Okay.
It's okay. It's not a big deal. Okay.
So,
Hello, everyone.
hello.
I hope you're all doing fine. I'd like to share my experience and my method, which helped me a lot. First question, what are your advice to learn a language? Actually, I have a few tips to learn a new language. First, everyone have to know his motivation. The first language learning tip might sound obvious, but if you don't have a good reason to learn a language, you're less likely to stay motivated. Over the long run, wanting to impress Arabic or English speaker with your French is not a very good reason. Wanting to get to know a French person in their own language is another matter entirely. You see, actually, and find a partner, which I did. Actually, I had that app, which is name is italki. I searched for language for your own language in exchange of other language. Actually, I found a lot of partner there. I don't know. I haven't used it in a long time ago. I think it's really great way to actually going about it. If you have someone with you who can speak, and that's the idea behind learning a language.
Yes.
And number 3 might be funny, but it's the way that I learn. It's talking to yourself.
Exactly.
The last language learning tip isn't available because you have no one else to speak to. There's nothing wrong with talking to yourself in a foreign language. It might sound really weird, but actually speaking to yourself in a language is a great way to practice if you're not able to use it all the time.
Right.
And keep it relevant. If you make conversation a goal from the beginning, you're less likely to get lost in textbooks. Talking to people is one of the best ways to learn a language because it keeps the learning process relevant to you. Actually, and I have this idea, like learning like a kid, like reading a story made for kids, because it has simple phrases, you see, and we learn by making mistakes. Everyone, as a kid, and we expected to make mistakes, but as adults, mistakes are taboo. Think how an adult is more likely to say I can't rather than I haven't learned that yet. To be seen failing or merely struggling is a social taboo that doesn't burden children. When it comes to learning a language, admitting that you don't know everything is the key to growth and freedom. Let go from grown up inheritions and leave your comfort zone. Willingness to make mistakes means being ready to put yourself in potentially embarrassing situation. Actually, that happens to me a lot. Yeah, this can be scary actually, but it's the only way to develop and improve. No matter how much you learn, you won't ever speak a language without putting yourself out there. Talk to strangers in the language, ask for directions, order food, try to tell a joke. The more often you do this, the bigger your comfort zone becomes. And the more at ease you will be in a new situation. And listening is the most important thing. The language learning tip, though simple, really can't be emphasized enough. You must learn to listen before you can speak. Every language sounds strange the first time you hear it. It's actually, when I started to learn Germany, it was really very hard from listening to other people tell me that it's so hard to learn. Then when I watched one season of series. I don't know if you heard of it or not. Its name is Dark. Yeah, I
Yeah.
found a few similarities between it and English.
Mm.
The more you expose yourself to it, though, the more familiar it becomes, making it easier to speak and comprehend.
Mhm.
And
Correct.
question number 2, what skill you want need to enhance the most? Watch others speaking. That's the best way. One way it might sound a bit strange
Mhm.
is to really look at someone while they are saying words that uses sound and then try to imitate that sound as much as possible. Believe me, it might be difficult at the beginning, but
Correct. Yeah.
you will master it. It's something that is actually quite easily done. You just need to practice.
Mhm. Correct.
And finally, what is your suggestion to develop the club and its activities? Making a dialogue, write a short paragraph or short story and read it in public. Make
Mm.
lessons twice a week, which I think it's better so everyone can memorize everything.
Mhm. Great.
Uh, Finally, my tip to all beginners in language: you are brave and smart, and keep going. Listen popular songs over again or audiobooks. They'll help try to memorize them. They'll help a lot to improve your language. And I download once I talk, as I told you. It really helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Just try this app. And really, really thank you for this chance to join this amazing club. And the host, thank you so much. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Gina. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, Mariam, do you still want to give us your participation?
Thank you, Zina, about this important topic.
Thank you.
Um, Really, it was great and filled in a new information.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm one of the people you mentioned. I was very afraid, but the truth was that before
Mhm.
it only takes courage to take the first step.
Mhm.
And about the advice, yeah, my advice for learning a
Mhm.
language is to follow one of the uh, education systems
Mhm.
to the person. Uh, but the most important of that learning is of the learning is uh, practicing. Okay,
Mhm.
I will learn and don't wait. Try to practice what I'm learned.
Mhm.
Uh, just it's I'm not a person advisor person,
Mhm.
but that's what I saw it when in learning time, in
Mhm.
my learning time. What I say, I don't know. Uh, just this my what I'm saying. Uh,
Yeah. So our advice
about
is to practice more. Practice everything we learn
oh,
daily.
exactly
Mhm. Okay.
about the skill which I
Mhm.
want enhance it. Actually, I think that my English is what I must work on, must to develop right now
Mhm.
at present time. Okay,
Yeah. Right
and
thing.
also my mother told me one day that I have the convince skill.
Mhm.
So if really I have, I think that I not prof at in this skill.
Mhm.
So I want to know and learn and read more about it to to develop it.
Good.
Okay. About the club, I am very grateful to it. and for all activities. Even I wait impatiently Saturday or Sunday. Really, I don't think that it's need any suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you too, Maya. Thanks. Anyone else? Sorry. Go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, we hear you.
Okay, I would like to thank you for your effort and for interesting presentation. Um, about advice, I'm still learn a language, so I cannot give you advice. But let me call the experience
Mm-hmm.
and participate with you. I think it's good to turn your life to the language that you would like to learn it. That's mean change your life, change
Mm-hmm.
your lifestyle, such
Mm-hmm.
as phones, televisions, songs, movies, and try to translate anything you see to language that you want to learn.
Yes.
Uh, about skill, I think I need listening skill. Uh, I think
Mm-hmm.
this about suggestion. Um, I suggest the request from members introduce presentation or brief about any topic every week and discuss it with the rest because they will help him to break the barrier of fear and shy. Uh, Finally, I very like the say be proud of your accent.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, there I would like to say something about this phrase.
Yes.
I remember when I participate workshop with members from Arab countries, I
Mm-hmm.
noticed the Egyptian pronounce the word the.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's very clear in Egyptians,
Mm-hmm.
but don't. But it's okay. I think this explain your say about be proud of your accent.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you again.
Thank you, Josai. Thanks a lot. You just mentioned something really important, which is to be, let's say, let me rephrase it, surround yourself with your target language. Make your phone in English or any language you're learning. Uh, Facebook, Instagram, all those use them by using your target language. I even sometimes I just walk around the house and speak in my target language, like good morning, good night, what are you doing, what are you cooking today, and stuff like that. It's kind of annoying to the other people around me in the house, but it helps me, so I don't really care that much, to be honest. So yeah, surround yourself with the language. Watch TV shows from this language. Even if you don't understand them, just listen or just make it more common at your workplace or your living place and stuff like that. Anyone else? No. Okay. Adari?
Hello.
Hello.
First of all, thanks for Mistina for this important tips.
My
Really
pleasure.
make us to be better. يعني, when you start to speak another language, you can get in your head about speaking your new language as fast as your native language. The
Mhm.
first step, take your time with more practice. Set target for what you want to achieve. Learn right words. Study smart. Start using the language all the day, يعني every day.
Mhm.
Test yourself and always repeat with yourself. You can do it.
Yes.
The second question, confidence is very important to improve يعني your language. And you must to enhance focus. يعني it's my problem when I learn English. I distraction. Yeah, when I listening. You must, yes, you must to far. And when I speak يعني I have a lot of time, a lot of words and sentences, but when I speak run away.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, what about the third one? Adari, do you hear me? It seems that Adari doesn't hear us anymore, so we will see Liam till she comes. Go on, Liam. Liam?
Hi.
Hey, go ahead.
I just want to add something for the club.
Mhm.
Develop the club. In the vocabulary session, when you published a post about the vocabulary, as I told you previously, we need something of record the word and the vocabulary that will help us to memorize this and spell it correctly.
Correct.
So this is just this point we need from your, if you have time and if you have the comfort zone around you.
Okay, we'll check this out
Okay.
again. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Adari, if you are back again, you can resume your participation. Well,
Yes, Miss.
yes, I think you just you were saying something and you went mute.
Okay. But no. About the third question, you hear me?
No.
No? Okay. I ask my friends to be more active and get over their shyness or shyness, because Miss Zina, it's a very simple person. She does not judge them. But the club is very interesting and يعني it's very amazing. I really interesting when I enjoy with you, and thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you too. Thanks a lot. Okay. Also, we have Nahle, right? Nahle, why did you lower your hand?
Hello, Ms.
Hi.
Zina.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm perfect. And you?
Hello, everyone. I hope you all are doing fine. I'm sorry, Medina, today I'm not sharing anything because I'm at work now.
Oh.
And I just listen for all what you say and for all guys, but I can't share. But now I just want to say something. I have a suggestion for club, if you don't mind.
No.
I don't know, something coming in my mind. I think if the club has a channel on the Telegram, that is for all the members of the club, and the person يعني in charge put different topics for discussion by voice message, miss. This will increase the benefit. We just use voice message. يعني, and you put anything for a topic or a question, and through the day we can share يعني we can participate, or anyone he can participate.
Yes.
That's my suggestion for the club.
Well, thank you,
I'm
Nahda.
sorry.
But we have created a Telegram channel about less than a week ago, actually. Maybe you didn't see the post on our page.
No, no, I don't know. We have?
Yes, it's very recent. I think last week or something. I'm not really sure when, but
I'm
we
sorry,
created one.
I didn't
That's
see,
okay.
I didn't saw it, but
I will.
maybe,
I will share it with you personally. Don't worry. Yeah.
please do that
Everyone else,
if
if
you
you are
don't
still
mind.
looking for a Telegram channel, just check our posts on Facebook and Instagram. You will find the link to it. Uh,
Okay.
yes, join us.
Thank you, Ms. Zina. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks a lot. Okay. Anyone else? Obviously no. Well, hopefully this session was useful. I think it was because you sounded really excited. And I hope this will help you to enhance and develop your languages. Maybe it will encourage you to learn a new language as well, not only English and Arabic, maybe some other language. And well, that's it. Next week, we are having a serious, dangerous, but very important topic, which is rumor, going to be presented by Hosai. And we would like to see you there, talk about rumors, which our lives are full with them. So, till next week, I hope you all doing wonderful to achieve your goals in the language you are learning and anything else you are trying to achieve. And hopefully this was helpful, helped you enhance your language and gave you some ideas to move on with your language. Thank you very much.